Your life.
Hi. So let me ask you something. If I could show you how to unlock and protect up to six figures in profit inside your med spa without hiring any more staff, extending any hours, or working any harder than you already are, would you stay on with me for the next 25 minutes? Because that's what I'm about to talk about today. And this is the reason so many med spa owners are feeling completely drained. They're fully booked, constantly busy, and just totally exhausted. But at the same time, they're still wondering, like, why is the money never seeming to stick here? I'm doing everything that I can. So, what I'm going to talk about today is all about those hidden profit leaks, that kind that's costing you and your clinics 100,000, 200,000, or 500 plus $1,000 a year without triggering those obvious red flags. So if you stay on to the end of this call, you'll know where the profit leaks are happening in the med spa, why busy does not equal profitable, and how clinics can increase their EBITDA without adding chaos. So this could most definitely be the most profitable 25 minutes you spend on your business this year. So let me start. For those that don't know me, I am Brittany. I work here at Diamond Accelerator, and I work with med spa owners nationwide to help them identify profit leaks, rebuild operational systems, and turn busy clinics into financially disciplined businesses. So throughout this call today, you're going to hear me reference our 99 Profit Killers Guide. It's a free resource that outlines the most common ways that med spas leak profit through lacking memberships, their service mix, pricing, payroll, inventory, EMRs, leaderships, you name it, it's covering it. So if you want access to this free resource, drop a comment profit below and we'll send you the link to get you access to that. And if you're sitting there thinking, gosh, that sounds familiar, I don't even know where to start. That sounds like my med spa. That's how I'm feeling. Whatever it is that's popping through your head right now, let me tell you about a clinic that said those exact words to me. So, this client of mine, she was extremely busy, always booked, but still broke. That clinic, I feel like she was doing like just about $2.5 million a year. And from the outside looking in, her schedules were packed. She had strong injector demand. She had a very high-end brand. But the owner, when she came to me, she was like, I don't understand how we can be this busy and I still am this broke. So we analyzed her business and she completed our 99 profits checklist. And by completing that checklist, we uncovered $312,000 in annual profit leakage, not from one catastrophic mistake, but from compounded inefficiencies that were hiding in plain sight. So we pressure tested every revenue producing service against their true cost per treatment, provider time utilization, payroll contribution margins, then realigned pricing and compensation. So every booked hour actually supported overhead, owner pay, and EBITDA, not just activity. Then we also implemented inventory controls that eliminated those reactive orders and the silent waste of just expiring inventory. And within 90 days, her EBITDA increased by 18% without working any harder, without adding staff, hours, or any other workload changes. Same clinic, same team, just different financial architecture. And another client of mine, they were actually a multi-unit, multi-location clinic, and they were growing pretty quickly. So growth was not the problem. Revenue was climbing, but yet at the same time, cash was shrinking. And the leadership team kept saying, this must be, just a growing pain. No, it wasn't. They were leaking $27,000 per month quietly without those obvious red flags. And that profit killers checklist allowed us to identify those. So we've rebuilt the operational finance layer of the business. Memberships were redesigned to model the utilization, not optimism. Staffing models were aligned to demand patterns instead of fear. And EMR data was cleaned up and optimized so leadership could trust the employees and that they were making the decisions from data. We didn't cut staff. We didn't reduce the patient experience. We implemented financial guardrails, systems that were protecting our margins automatically instead of relying on constant oversight. 6 months later, cash flow stabilized, retention improved, leadership stopped reacting, and profit finally matched the effort that was going in. So growth didn't break the business. It was weak systems that did. So now you can understand how silent those profit killers really are. And I'm gonna tell you about one more client of mine, and this one's a big one. This client came to me because they were preparing to sell. She was looking she was nearing retirement. She wanted out. This clinic had a great reputation, a really strong demand. They were emotionally and mentally just ready to exit. And on the surface, it looked like a clean deal. But when they went into their diligence phase, the cracks really started to show. So we ran the numbers. The business was leaking about $180,000 in EBITDA annually, not because the revenue was weak, but because operations weren't systemized to protect margin or scale without the owner. And so, okay, $180,000 in EBITDA. At a conservative 4x multiple, that's $720,000 in lost valuation. And here's what buyers flagged immediately. They saw the inconsistent margins by service category. They saw the payroll inefficiencies that were tied to productivity. They saw the heavy owner dependency, the lack of standardized operational reporting. And they didn't say, we'll fix it later. They said, this is a risk. So we rebuilt the clinic with the exit strategy in mind, not survival. We standardized their pricing and margin protection across all of the services that were offered. Their payroll models were aligned to productivity, not tenor or emotion, based off data. Leadership dashboards that clearly showed EBITDA drivers, implemented SOPs that allowed the business to run without constant owner involvement. So we didn't just increase the profit there, we de-risked the business and multiplied the valuation. And within 12 months, that EBITDA materially increased, the financials became predictable and clean, and that business ran independently. So when the clinic returned to market, buyers weren't negotiating potential. They were paying for proven, systemized profitability, and she sold for 7 figures more than the original offer. And that's what happens when systems are built to maximize EBITDA and valuation. So the common denominator here, every one of these transformations started the same way, awareness. And that is exactly why we built this 99 Profit Killers guide. So fill it out. Comment profit below and we will send you the link. Don't let these silent killers destroy and take all of your profit away from you. They're silent and they're dangerous. And when you're reviewing this checklist, I can't obviously go over all 99 on today's call with you, but I do want to talk about my 3 favorite sections. The first section would be looking at the pricing and revenue leaks because pricing mistakes, they compound faster than anything else. And one underpriced service doesn't cost you once. And that's what you really need to realize here is it costs you every single day on every single patient until it's corrected. I'd say my next second, or my second best favorite is going to be all in the payroll and provider efficiency. Because payroll can be within benchmark, but still be inefficient. And this section shows whether your team is truly productive or just busy. And then my third favorite section is all about the operations and EMR leaks. And if your EMR data isn't decision grade, your leadership is left guessing. And this section exposes where effort and money are misaligned, even in high volume clinics. So again, this checklist tells us everything we need to know. So don't wait, fill it out and see where your leaks are by commenting profit below and we'll send the link to you. If you're currently working with an operations consultant, you can also reach out to them to get access to this link as well. So at a very high level, just wanted to talk about those silent profit leaks and how they can really impact you and put more money back in your pocket at the end of the day. I do just want to kind of check in with some of our viewers. We have a lot of people on this call today. Good gravy. Just want to say hi to everyone. Hi, Katie. Hi, Carla. Dr. S. Oh, it's good to see you too. All right. So I'm super happy that y'all are here on this call today. And now I would love to hear some questions from you guys. So go ahead if there's anything that I said that you'd love a little bit more detail on, a little more color, or just have some questions that I can help answer. I would love to, if you sent them my way, just go ahead and comment in the chat. Oh, looks like we. First question. We already have an accountant and a bookkeeper. Isn't this something they should be catching? Wow. This is one of the most common misconceptions, and it's truly no fault of your accountant or bookkeeper. Because think about it, accountant and bookkeepers, they're finance. They don't have that med spa industry or the med spa operations. They are responsible for accuracy, compliance, categorization, and just historical reporting. So they're excellent at telling you what happened last month, last quarter, or last year with for what they know, but they're not hired or trained to pressure test how your business operates before the numbers land on the P&L. And L. And what I mean by this, I hope I'm answering your question in the way that you want, but for example, they don't evaluate whether your injector pricing actually supports payroll, rent, or the owner pay. They're also not analyzing revenue per provider's hour to see if the productivity is efficient or just busy. They're not looking at your EMR data to even see if it's accurate data that they're spending all of their time on, and they're just trusting what you send them. So think about all the leaks that could be there that they don't even know about. And they don't assess whether staffing models or memberships or promotions protect margin or if there is a quiet erosion there. So those are operational finance questions, not accounting ones. And that's what we do here at Diamond Accelerator is, we are that layer before the accounting. How pricing, scheduling, compensation structures, inventory behavior, systems, how all of that impacts the bottom line, your EBITDA in real time and not after the fact. All right, I have another question here. What if I'm afraid to make changes because I don't want to upset my team or patients? That fear is incredibly common and honestly usually comes from very good intention. Most owners don't avoid change because they're weak leaders. They avoid it because they care about their people and their patients. But here's the reality most owners don't realize until later. Unclear systems create far more stress for teams than clear standards ever will. So when you're pricing, your compensation, when all of that doesn't align and processes are inconsistent, that's when your team begins to experience confusion about what good performance actually even means. That's when anxiety around fairness and favoritism starts to present itself, and a lot of burnout from constantly shifting expectations. That's exhausting from a provider standpoint. And in contrast, when those systems are clear and consistent, teams feel safer and performance expectations feel objective and not personal and decisions feel predictable instead of emotional. So, strong financial leadership isn't cold leadership. It's leadership that protects the business so jobs, compensation, and patient care are sustainable long term. And the most damaging environments I see aren't structured ones. They're ones where the rules change depending on the mood, fear, or fear of avoiding, making changes. So, I would say stability, to answer your question, stability is the most generous thing you can give your team. How do memberships affect profitability? Aren't they risky if people overuse them? These are great questions, you guys. Okay, so memberships, I would say they are one of the most powerful financial tools in a med spa. It's also one of the easiest ways to destroy your margin if they're not designed correctly, because they become extremely risky when pricing isn't tied to actual utilization patterns. And when you're stacking discounts on discounts across services without any guardrails, and when it's not, it's also risky when it comes to product or provider time and operational costs that aren't modeled or something with a very high disposable that's being given away. So, and it's just, that's when they really become risky. And In those cases, memberships don't create predictable revenue. They are literally creating predictable losses, and that's why it is so important to have a membership that is designed based on your financial needs and your clinic. How do profit leaks affect the valuation of my med spa if I want to sell one day? Wow, this is a packed question here. Profit leaks don't just reduce the cash flow, they directly reduce enterprise value. That's the way I would frame it. Most med spas are valued on an EBITDA multiple. So that means every dollar that's leaking from your margin doesn't disappear once, it gets multiplied. So, for example, if your clinic is leaking, let's say, $200,000 in annual EBITDA, and the market values your business at a conservative 3 to 5x multiple, that's 600,000 to $1 million in lost valuation. And buyers don't assume that they can fix it later at full value. They discount for inconsistent margins, weak systems, unclear financial visibility, and owner dependency. So this is why clean, well-structured businesses command higher multiples because they reduce the risk for the buyer. And buyers don't pay for potential. They pay for proven, repeatable profitability. So keep in mind, leaky businesses don't get premium multiples. And that's why I encourage you all to comment profit to gain access to identify where your profit leaks are. All right. Any other questions? I think I covered them all. Oh, we just had one more come in. What financial signals tell me my clinic is outgrowing its current systems? Wow. All right, we saved the best for last here. This is probably the most important questions that an owner can possibly ask. So clear financial signals, this would include, okay, your payroll is rising faster than your revenue. Your cash balances are declining despite your top line going up. Um, it's more appointments, more activity, but flat or shrinking profit, and leadership decisions that feel reactive instead of planned. Those aren't growth pains. They're signs that systems haven't kept pace with scale. So what's actually happening is inefficiencies that were tolerable at lower volume are now amplified. Decisions are being made without real-time financial visibility, and the business is relying on effort instead of structure. And growth doesn't break healthy businesses. It exposes the weak ones. Growth doesn't break businesses. Remember that. Weak systems do. So, if anything that I said on this call today looks like I wrapped up all the questions, if anything hits close to home, it's not a red flag. It's a sign that you're thinking like an owner. So get access to the 99 Profit Killers checklist by commenting profit below and we'll send it to you. If your score comes back high, just understand this. You don't need to work any harder. You need better systems, and that's where we can help you. And I want to thank you all for your time today, and feel free to reach out to us by commenting profit below.